Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Friday game review. Sorry this one took so long, Miguel and Silvia, but it's a page under 500 pages. This is just absolutely massive. Look at that thing. I got this one from Lulu, not drive-through, because I don't do business with drive-through anymore, but it took me a while to go through this one because I have several pages of notes. Thank God I've got small handwriting. But let's get into it. It's called Darker, and I'm going to read the back, which I noticed that there's like two back covers. I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if you did that in the beginning as well. But written by Miguel. Silvia did some additional writing. A couple other folks I'm not familiar with, but we'll get to it. So, like I said, let's read the back. Darker is a mature supernatural horror game which challenges you to confront themes of faith, morality, and the human condition amidst a terrifying landscape of escalating supernatural peril and the allure of danger of a promised progressive utopia. It presents inquiries into the true nature of good and evil and the resilience of the human spirit when exposed to overwhelming darkness, brought about by its own metaphorical killing of the divine. In the world of Darker, ancient evil forces have resurfaced to torment humanity. The roots of this unfolding nightmare trace back to the Age of Enlightenment and later the Industrial Revolution, two historical periods that fundamentally reshaped humanity's relationship with the divine and spiritual realms. Rationalism and the growth of science and technology marked the beginning of a long process that led to the modern-day horrors that now hold the world in their grip. So basically, it's 2024, the role-playing game. That's what I'm going to be calling it, because, Miguel, dang, you just savaged the world in which we live, alluding to it throughout this book in just top-notch style. The art is stunning, black and white throughout the entire book. Every image is top-notch. There's a few, of course, that my son will throw holy water at me for viewing, but I'm getting kind of used to it. I'm just going to try to find one of my favorite images in here to give you guys a good example. There's some art in here that I really was not a fan of. I forget the artist's name, but if I come across one of those, I'll give you. Oh, you know, this page will work. It's a double pager. See if you can see that. Traditional black and white, which is, you know, one of my two favorite styles of art. The other being photorealism. And it's a departure from the usual OSR style of gaming, where you have a character class. There are archetypes or you know, something similar to classes, but you're not doing the experience points, go up a level, get hit points, all that. As a matter of fact, one of my biggest worries about this game is the hit point system. You have your traditional stats, you know, the 6 stats, roll 3d6, either arrange them or take them down the line depending on, you know, what's required. But your hit points are your toughness score, which, you know, Constitution, same thing. So if you're lucky, I mean, like really, really, really lucky, you'd have 18 of those, and it seems to me that it's either it's not enough or the damage is too much, because one or two swipes from anything, and you're done. It's probably the most lethal game I've ever come in contact with when it comes to, you know, dangers of, you know, combat, but as well, it's also got a fear mechanic, which, you know, or a sanity mechanic, depending on how you want to look at it, that can, you know, also put you out of the game and into a straitjacket somewhere. But otherwise, you know, it's very similar to stuff they've done before. It does use similar alignment systems, although I was a big fan of one of the new takes on alignment, which I will get to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my notes, and if Miguel and Silvia are doing a show right now, sorry, go watch their live stream, because they're doing live streams Monday through Friday, I believe, like about this time. but I want to hurry up and get through this because I don't want to make it, another half-hour video. The events table, organizing them by a common theme would have been something I might have thought about doing. Most of these notes are suggestions, how things I would have done differently. Despite this large list of them, I do think this is a game worth playing and definitely worth having in your collection, unless they take all my notes and revise the book, in which case get that one instead, of course. The table of events, when rolling up your character to see past events that happened in your life, I would try to organize them by a theme, because it does seem like there are some stuff in there that you could like if you grew up rich or poor, or if you had some occult experiences in your character growing up, then I would do that. The next one, as always, I'm going to hit you with this. There's not enough equipment in the equipment section. Players are going to want stuff, machines, gadgets, etc., and there's just never enough. Maybe we could work on a book of nothing but equipment, prices, effects, etc., because that is probably the biggest low point in this game. Is there's not enough for the people. When being magic users is really tough, having any sort of supernatural powers or anything like that for the average character is going to be rough. And as humans, we make tools, and that's our advantage over the world we live in, is our ability to make things to solve our problems, trying to just do it with our hands and our brains. Against these baddies, we machine guns and dynamite, definitely they got to be there. The next one I came across, the allegiances should monitor prospective new recruits for a long time before introducing themselves. I know from my own personal experience with vetting folks, people can look real good on paper and real good in an interview or a couple of encounters, but if you really want to vet someone, for lack of a better term, you spy on them for a long period of time, especially if you're going to induct them into some infernal order of evil. You probably want to do your homework. Number 5, Australia is not a real place. Number 6, the FDA are bad guys, just saying. Number 7, is that Jeff Goldblum on page 52? You can check that out and get back to me. I absolutely love the path of taint and virtue. Awesome. Having a scaling alignment system where you can earn or lose your virtue, or gain vice points, etc. I love that. It reminds me of such games as Fable and Knights of the Old Republic, where you slowly rose into the light or dark side. In Star Wars and Fable, I think you became a good guy or a bad guy depending on the good deeds or bad deeds you did. I think there's other games out there like that. The acquisition rules, not a fan. I don't like having to roll to get things if I've got the money, but I understand that getting certain things is hard. But in today, right now, you come up with anything, I could have it in a week, whether it be Amazon, eBay, ordering online, or knowing people. Now, if this is strictly in a moment's notice or a 24-hour notice, maybe I could see that, but again, with the equipment, I would expand those kinds of rules. Of course, you guys know I hate ammo rolls. I'll let you know when I run out of ammo. Unless you don't know how to use a firearm, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Unless it's fully automatic, how many shots you took. You're not going to run out. You're not going to forget to load it completely. Unless it's a revolver and you leave one cylinder empty, then you have 5. You can count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know me. I'm a gearhead, so these are things that I would fix. Semi-auto pistols come in the same calibers as revolvers. So, having just a one line for semi-auto handguns, but several for the revolvers, you should either chop one down and simplify it, or extend the other one, because the difference between a 22 pistol and a 44 mag, very, very different results on all the spectrums. Same with machine guns and machine pistols. Damage should reflect the caliber, not the weapon, because that's really what's in play there. Armor does not interfere with perception. To be honest, if you've ever worn any body armor, it actually puts you in a mindset of, hey, I'm going to get into some hairy shit. I better have my eyes and ears open. This armor is not going to just, magically protect me. And even then, it's only going to protect you in certain places temporarily until it gets, worn away. Depending on the Kevlar you're wearing, after a couple of shots, it just becomes a sweater vest and virtually useless. But if you look on the open market today, there are some types of armor that look like regular street clothes, to armors that I have a plate carrier that's probably a centimeter of steel plate. Now, it's going to weigh you down, but trust me, if I'm wearing that, I am looking around, because I'm in some deep shit. So if you're wearing it, it really, unless it's a helmet, it's not interfering with your ability to turn your head and look around. It will reduce your speed and wear you out over time, especially if it's the heavier stuff like mine, weighs like 50 pounds. I put that on and I don't want to go anywhere. I'm just sitting and looking, because it's freaking heavy. The experience point system, nice examples. I like it. I do think some of the costs for spending your experience points to improve your character are a little spendy, especially in a game where characters are going to get hit once and probably die. I'm not sure what the purpose of hit locations are in combat, because if you get hit, you're just dead. It's like this: you've got 3 dice 6 worth of resources for your hit points, as in toughness, and weapon damages start at 1, 2, 3 and more d6s. You get hit, you're just going down. If you've ever been shot anywhere serious, not like a nick or a graze, you go into shock, and all you're doing is trying to stop the bleeding. You're not in combat anymore. Like I said, unless it's scrapes and scratches, you get stabbed. If you're still up after 15 seconds after that, you're a badass. Nice vehicle rules. Could use speed mods to damage, but I was just having a discussion about this earlier. I don't like it. It overcomplicates things. If you get hit by a car and it's moving anything over like 8 miles an hour, you're probably hitting the ground, and if you get back up, that you can have that discussion afterwards. The drug effects seem too beneficial versus real life experiences. Don't want to go into it, but most of the effects, like I said, are just are too good. Most of the drugs that are mentioned really just make you dumb and or think you can do things you can't, when in fact you can't. They just make you think you can, or put you in a state where you're really not doing much, or you're doing so much but you're actually, it's like the old adage, the faster I work, the farther I get behind. I've seen all kinds of people hopped up on things, and all they're doing is making mistakes. They may be moving fast, but everything they're doing, it should be coming with like a -4 to a -8 modifier to accomplish the thing. They think they can do it, but they keep screwing up and screwing up and screwing up, and it takes a good die roll to actually get those actions done. Let's see, where am I? Fear rules. Military, medical, law enforcement characters should get a bonus, as should certain event roles and archetypes. They should be accustomed to that, depending on how long they've been in those fields. Trust me, I know some folks that it takes a. There's only certain things that will scare them, literally. And they have to be very personal. Like their kids in danger, they'll lose their shit. But people shooting at them, it's like, second nature kind of thing. Magic, what? No exorcist or good guys. Might be something for a supplement. It seems to me that I realize you're going for the darkest, most horrific setting possible, 2024. But there does need to be something, whether it's all in the person's head or some light at the end of the tunnel or something, especially when you have characters like demon hunters and things like that. Unless they too are fallen, it seems like this could use easily a supplement or something added to it for when you want to add that. Because trust me, there's going to be GMs out there. Randy's a good example. If he ran this, there'd be some good magic or some good, benefits from being a good person, just to offset it somewhat. Unless something I should have touched on in the beginning. I don't know if this was intended for, basically like your one shots or 4 or 5 game sessions and you're done, versus a long-term campaign without some things like that to improve this. It's going to be relegated to, okay, we'll play a couple of games, of this to cleanse our palate from whatever we're playing. Otherwise, this doesn't appear to have a lot of, playing it every week, let's say for a year, unless the players, are totally prepared to make up new characters every 3 or 4 sessions, or they play it so carefully, which can get to be a drag after a while if you don't have that moment of rest. At some point, players are just like, okay, I'll just run these characters till they're dead, and I've got 6 more already rolled up, so I'm good to go. Typo, there was a misspelling on page 152. It's the word mold. I think you spelled it wrong. After fabricate tech implants, a mold and cooled. Maybe that's a regional thing, but we don't have a U in the word mold. Traditional rituals should be a prerequisite for any other school of magic. I like the traditional rituals as like your beginning introduction before you pick a path. That's how I would run it. Maybe it's something to think about. The summoner familiar, everywhere I've ever experienced the summon familiar, once you get one, it's kind of a permanent thing. Having to resummon a new familiar just seems weird. Maybe that's what you came across in your research doing this, but in all of my experience of reading and gaming and TV and movies and that sort of thing, the witch always had her black cat or whatever her familiar was. She didn't have to call a new familiar every time she needed access to that kind of information. The cryptids, a little bit more physical description, because some of them, what they look like is really important. Without, the traditional monster manual photo or picture of the monster, it would be a little helpful to have a little more detail, unless you're hoping that the GM is just going to make up their own version of the Jersey Devil or some such. All the creatures should have an XP value for defeating them. That was a thing I've always seen in your books before, and it's just another line item. I know it might seem like a pain in the butt, but you don't want the GMs to overdo that unless you don't actually get XP for defeating creatures, in which case that makes total sense. Another typo on page 203 under under characteristics, the B is missing from the word bound. I'm on to the next page already. Wow, okay, cool. That was the first 24 of my notes. we're almost done, folks. Demonic beings, excellent adversaries. They were great. Kudos on putting a spotlight on all the world's evil and their possible sources. So well done here. I have to wonder where you get your insight. Just saying. I have to keep my eyes on you, man. I find out you're summoning demons and shit. Probably gonna stop buying your books, man. Just saying. Now, 26. So many adversaries to pick from. The players might never know who or what they're facing. I would definitely recommend to the referee to try to narrow it down. I mean, there's literally like half the book is bad guys and their shenanigans. I would recommend the GM like just pick a theme or pick a group, and we're just going to focus with this and not having all the other things just everywhere. You can't swing a stick without hitting one of these monstrosities. I don't know if this was intentional, but for all of the areas you had like an encounter table, except for the abyss, the underwater abyssal area, on pages 308, 309. But there were two encounter tables for the abyssal woods, and they're both foresty areas, but there was nothing for underwater. I would have really enjoyed seeing your take on that, because I'm running an aquatic game right now, so anything I could have swiped from you for undersea weirdos would have been just right up my alley, as they say. I got a question. If not the creatures like sharks and lions and tigers and bears, oh my, but the other creatures, like I said before, it seems like the damage they're dealing out is just claw, character dead, claw, character dead kind of thing. It might be too much. I might drop it down to using D4s, because I mean 18 hit points, and that's the toughest character in the party, let's say, if you get one like that. Trust me, if I was running this game or playing in this game, excuse me, and I got to choose my stats, the highest stats go into toughness. I don't care. Otherwise, I'll be rolling up another character after each combat, and you don't want that unless you do, and you want the characters to constantly be running, and that's fine. I've run plenty of games like that. Even with toughies, I want the characters to run. I want them to run and hide and be afraid for the entire game, and then go home and have nightmares. But it just seemed like the damage, not to mention the damage, but the hit points they have, they seem on a one-on-one basis, no player character could, in my mind, be able to defeat them with anything other than a bazooka or plastic explosive traps or something like that. They're just really, really tough. Having some mooks, some lower level things that they can kind of cut a path through, as opposed to having to run from every Tom, Dick, and Harry monster out there. Just it seems a little odd. I had one other thing on here. Yeah. So how does a single character, or is it always about the buddy system? Like you don't go anywhere alone? I'm not sure. I skipped the sample adventure. I'm hoping to one day get to play in a game, and in case that was something. I did read a little bit of it, but I didn't want to get too much into the weeds with that. And I'm still watching the video you did on your last playthrough of this game, but I got interrupted by reading this, so I'm going to go back and watch that to get a taste of what it's like to play in a game. Probably should have watched that to get maybe some of these questions answered, but anyways. Oh, okay. On page 428, where it says item 10, the last sentence just trails off. It says as the, and then there's no continuation of that sentence. It was kind of weird. If it was meant to be like that, it didn't. I didn't get it. Not that there was a joke, but I just didn't understand why that was a thing. If I missed something, please let me know later. Appendix D, Styles of Play. One of the best parts of this book, in addition to the movie references. Just absolutely, every game needs that to give a prospective GM an idea on different ways they could come at this game or any game. You know, do you want to run it a slasher? Do you want to run it a gothic? You know, here's some examples, and here are some choice movies that will help inspire you to go down that path further as the GM. Absolutely very helpful. But if there were any books that you could recommend, that wouldn't be bad. But I you know, after I wrote that, I thought, you know, probably not. You guys are probably not big horror novel readers. Maybe you are, or maybe there just weren't enough of them. It would be like one or two for each genre. I can't remember too many slasher novels I've ever come across, but that's what I came up with, having read the entirety of this book. This is literally like one of the heaviest books in my collection now, by the way, folks. It's freaking massive. Gorgeous, gorgeous art, quality. Give it up to Lulu for putting it together. I just hope the binding will last. If they ever put your books in hardcover, let me know, because I prefer hardcover. They last longer, and I want these books in my collection for a good long time. If you guys are looking for something dark and gritty and brutal, just brutal beyond all the funnels and the, you know, games like that, this blows all that away, and it could easily be played, you know, at any time during Earth, but with all the references, Miguel, Greta Thunberg, etc., just top notch, just thumb in the eye of all these scumbags that make our world a darker place. So, Miguel, thanks. Silvia, additional thanks. I hope to hear from you guys soon. I hope you guys out there in TV land, if you're looking for something, it's not too late. You know, Halloween doesn't end the horror season. It goes well into November. Trust me, the story I'm writing right now is doing just that. If you are big fans of horror games, I recommend this one big time. If any of the things I said during this veer you off, I get it, but any questions, go over to the Red Room, talk to Miguel and Silvia. They will set you on the right path, I hope. Still got my eyes on you too. But that's all I got. This ran a little bit longer, and I got to get back to the typewriter, so to speak. I will see you guys tomorrow night for a regular sci-fi show. Until then, folks, thanks for sticking around and playing along. We love you guys, and I will see you later.